So should you be taking your reptiles out of the enclosure to feed them or not? That's what we're going to be talking about today when we come back on Intrepid Exotics. Now this topic comes up somewhat regularly in discussions in different snake groups and so forth. Kind of reminded me a little bit of it. I was out at Repticon out here in Greensboro over the weekend. Had my 12-foot retic behind me and my 12-foot albino Burmese up there as well, doing some PR with them. I was up there supporting a friend of mine that had a stand set up, helping to draw some attention, letting some folks interact with the bigger snakes. And in the course of talking with a couple people, I'd seen one who was asking questions about their ball python, saying that they're trying to do everything right with it. They're, you know, moving it into a separate enclosure when they go to feed and so forth. And so we had to stop and talk about that a little bit out there on site. And since there's so many people that are still doing it, I thought it a good topic to make a video on. So when we talk about handling animals and feeding them, we want those to be two separate encounters. And we want the snakes to have very clear understanding, as clear as we can give them, of when it's time to eat and when it's time to be handled. Now, when you've got a snake this size, you can see she's back there pushing a little bit. The rabbit's thawed out, warmed up, and sitting on the counter over there. And she can smell it. She knows there's food out here. I guarantee you, if I was to open that cage right now and try and grab her, especially with the smell of rabbit on my hand and her wanting to eat, she would latch on to me. It's a bad day. When it comes feeding day, not only, in my opinion, is it unsafe, it's really impractical to take all of your animals, especially for the, I mean, some of these folks have got, 20, 30 retics. I've been in places where there's 300 of them. And you are not, on feeding day, going to be moving every one of those animals out of their enclosures, feeding them, and then putting them back in. Especially when you're dealing with say for instance, a room full of 16, 18-foot animals or something like that. You're just asking for trouble. So common practice with retics is to feed them in their enclosures. And to kind of break that down a little bit, for me to move her out of her enclosure, I've got to turn off her food response to handle her, get her moved, get her in a tub, and then feed her. And then after she's done eating, however long that takes, however big the prey item is, now I've got to turn off her food response again, handle her, put her back into her enclosure, handle her right after she's got a fresh meal in her. And none of those things come really highly recommended. First, you really don't want to handle your animals if you've got any food scent on you at all. No matter how socialized these guys are, they're still ambush predators and they've still got feeding instincts. And sometimes with some animals, those feeding instincts are enhanced after they eat. So that's one no-no that you don't do. And another one is that you really don't want to be handling your animals right after they've had a meal. Sometimes some animals can get stressed out and regurgitate as a result of that, and now you've got an animal that could have a damaged digestive tract because of it. You've got to wait an additional 2 or 3 weeks to feed them, give them time to heal. Best practice to feed them right there in their enclosure. So I'm going to get her fed. She's roaming around and she's ready to eat. Of course, enclosure lock. And this is definitely one of those times where you can see how close her face is to the glass right there. I don't want my hand anywhere near that. These snakes can come around that glass and get you in a heartbeat. So you always open it up when it's time to eat. Actually, let me go ahead and get this rabbit ready because I know she's going to be ready to go once I open this door. At least I think she is. Let's see. And even with a 5-pound rabbit, these things can get kind of unwieldy. So, there we go. Come on, girl. Time to eat. Time to eat. Come on. There she goes. Now this is a situation you may or may not find yourself in from time to time, where they shoot out, drag the prey item out with them. All you gotta do, open it up a little bit. I tend to grab them up here above the coils first because they'll tend to pull up towards your hand, and then grab them by the coil, set them in. It's easy as that. Give a little bit of footage of her getting ready to take down that meal there. Okay guys, so the moral of the story is there's no need to take your snake out of the enclosure to feed them. It's perfectly safe. In a lot of ways it's better for the animal and better for you. So all you really need to do is continue with your tap training, know when and how to use your hook. I got another video on that, specifically with my male retic, showing snapping them out of the food response, and tap training with him that you might want to check out as well. And of course, if you found value in this, if you enjoyed seeing him eating and learned a little bit from it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be putting more stuff out. I've got another video coming up here later on today about red lights and reptile enclosures that I encourage everybody to check out. Yep, and she's having at it now. So again, you guys have an outstanding day, and I will see you next time on Intrepid Exotics.